Let's go over to goals, shall we? Yeah, I think this is our second most exciting upgrade. Where in the goals, we used to have information sort of spread all over the desktop and the mobile for that matter. We now have this sitting under one place where you can come select the goals icon, and you can also come back and view from here the training plan. We're going to see at the top here the upcoming goals, so whatever goals the athlete has, and then down has coming up, and then down below that, goals that this athlete has completed here. This is where, yeah, you can actually see the specifics of the goal. You can edit it straight from here. And I won't go through all these steps again. They're all steps that you're familiar with. It's just really making sure that you understand how you can access that. But when it comes to the goal specificity, when we talk about the biggest upgrade of how we're kind of managing that expectation around how you want your athlete to approach the goal, or how you've agreed with your athlete they're going to approach the goal, this here, what's your target, talks to the intention behind the intensity or the application of the athlete to that goal. So, and these are very accurate descriptors of how you as a coach would be prescribing the workout. So discover the distance talks to, hey, I want to get across the finish line. I'm not going to push myself. I'm not going to bust myself to for a PR or anything like that, but I want to be comfortable. I want to be ready to cover the distance. So that's the discover distance. The challenge yourself is it's one step up. So maybe we're looking at a more seasoned athlete, but maybe not multiples of seasons, where they're kind of ready to discover how hard they could push a specific leg or a certain format of event, or distance, say, for example. So that would be challenge yourself, push yourself, maybe shooting for a PB and have a really strong and confident day out. Be competitive, of course, that's the one that Pav's got set here. Prepare to hit the personal best possible and be competitive in the field. Now, of course, that's all relative, right? Like, well, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to be competitive in the field, but push your limits is the intention here. And then you can also set a custom target times that then drives the race pace workouts for that goal. So this is sort of taking away that, I guess, extra deep dive that you might want to take into the phases of a season in the past and really tweak the intensity and then and the fatigue tolerance of the athlete. This is sort of like the first point of call now for you as a coach to say, hey, this is kind of the intention my athlete wants to take here with the goal, and you can set that, and it sort of sets a really nice sort of starting point for your athlete. And from here, a new feature is being able to specify, rather than going into the phases and edit the phase, the number of taper and recovery days. And you can take them out completely as well. And if you decide that all of these edits that you've added to your athlete's goal are wrong, or you just want to start all over again, we now have the reset to default for most functions in the season for you now as a coach, which I think is really nice, because even if for a period of time you come in and you make an adjustment here, you can always come back and just default back to HumanGO's recommendations as your baseline again.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I'm just going to add to that really quickly. Two things that we've heard so much as a request from our users is that the time target for an event, but also something which I'm sure you're going to share in a moment. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but the custom legs as well, right? That being able to adjust and set a distance, that's not necessarily a standard. It's not often, but Grand Fondos, we have 100K and 100 miles, and very rarely do they always go into that. So yeah. Awesome addition. Thank you, Ray.
So when you're setting up a goal, you have the same options. I'm editing a goal effectively right now, but you'll see in the UI the same options exist when you add a goal as well. So that's this first option here. We also have the option to edit the training week. Now, I will go into that now. In fact, we could have talked about the training week before we even came into the goal, but I think this is where you sort of see the two come together. So editing the training week. This is the training week that applies to this goal, and if Pav had other goals here, I could select this drop down and they would be listed, and that way I can look at each of the training weeks for each of the goals just by selecting the drop down here.